Hi, everybody. I think there's some people here. Okay, yes, I can see that there's people here. Hi. Welcome to SEO Office Hours, our second time on YouTube. I promise to be better about sharing my screen today, and I won't hopefully share a black screen at any point today. But yeah, if you're here and you want to say hi in the chat, that would be nice, just so I know people are here. But yes, what else did I want to go over before we get started? I'm trying to think. I think I'll probably keep you over here so I can read the chat, because also I forgot to look at the chat sometimes last time. Oh, hi, Emily. Okay, so all right, so first I think I'll get started with one of the questions we got when you were RSVPing. So I want to go over that before we jump into any stuff about what we're covering today. Today we'll be covering UTM parameters and also just talking about page titles and meta descriptions, just because I think sometimes I talk a lot about that and then I realize that no one even knows what that is. So I don't want to keep talking about something that you guys don't even know what it is. But okay, cool. So I got this question from Katarina, I think is how you say her name, or Katharina, either way. And her question is all about keywords, and we'll be going over page titles and meta descriptions today. So I thought this was a good tie-in, because to do page titles and meta descriptions, you have to do some sort of keyword research. So she said, finding good keywords is something I struggle with. I found out my target audience does not like writing for several reasons. They know they have to, but they do not care about tips on how to write good articles. When she looks for writing blog posts, the search volume is about 100. And so that's a good keyword. But she also talks about writing better. And she says that also has about 100 searches a month. So she says, any ideas on how to find the right keywords, how to not cannibalize? And she just wants to, she doesn't want to write if her articles aren't getting read, which is totally true. Hi down there. So a couple things. There's a lot of questions. So first off, I'll say about the blogs themselves. Something you can do to make sure that maybe they're getting read more is obviously optimizing them. So I don't know if she's here right now, so I don't know. I can't like follow up questions, but yeah, like I would want to know, are you actually optimizing the blogs or are you just writing them? So when I say optimize, I mean, oh, hi, Katarina. So yeah, I guess make sure that the blogs you're writing, after you write them, you actually go in and optimize them, because that'll help you, your efforts go to good use. So make sure that if you do just find keywords, you're then putting the keywords into the content and making sure that you sprinkled the keywords throughout. So say you're targeting writing blog posts, make sure you're saying those words, every so often. Make sure that you have an optimized page title that includes, writing blog posts, and then make sure you write a meta description too, so that people, if they see it on Google, are like, oh, that sounds interesting, let me click on it. Okay, it says, so you said that you do optimize them. So yeah, that's good. And then the biggest thing for blogs is obviously headers. So no one wants to hit a blog that's just a wall of text. So making sure that the headers throughout are also optimized. So maybe it's like how to optimize or how to write blog posts. And then, there's headers throughout that are like examples of a good blog post, So just, making sure that there's headers that also include the keywords. So that's the first thing I wanted to just point out. As far as cannibalization goes, so cannibalization, it's a hard word, is when you have pages that are basically dueling it out to rank for the same keyword. So, yeah, like say my homepage is targeting SEO services, and then my services page is also targeting SEO services. Google would be like, well, what page do you want me to show for that keyword? So instead, like what I would want to do is make sure my homepage is more like, SEO expert or like SEO agency, and then my services page would target SEO services. So for you, I wouldn't worry too much about cannibalization as long as the search intent is different. So for instance, like your 2 keywords there, writing blog posts is very different than how to write better, because they're like 2 different things. Like someone searching how to write blog posts is a different person than who's just searching how to write better. So I wouldn't worry about that for cannibalization. But if you had a blog that was called like how to improve writing skills, and then you also had a blog that was how to get better at writing, those are targeting the same search intent, people who are looking to learn how to write better. So those 2 might compete. Does that make sense? So like they're both targeting writing better. So yeah, as long as they're totally different search intents and their variations on the same subject, you probably won't run into cannibalization issues. But if you are ever worried about that, I wouldn't be afraid of just combining the 2 blogs. Sometimes it's like we want to make as many blog posts as possible, but sometimes it's better to just make a really hardy blog instead of 2 shorter, less hardy blogs. So, and also like with one of the most recent algorithms, Google's kind of started to go around and ding websites that have a lot of thin content. So, blogs that, are just kind of light on content, they hardly answer the subject. So instead, kind of auditing your blogs and combining them might be a good idea. So she says, I don't really find good keywords that are a good fit. So with the few I have, I could not write that much for keywords to say so. Okay. Yeah, so that was one other thing I wanted to talk about was finding the keywords. So can you write in the chat like where you're finding keywords right now? Because a couple things I wanted to talk about were you could use the people also ask tool. Which is like that section on the bottom of Google that'll say like related keywords. So that's good for ideation. Another one is ChatGPT. So like if you came up with, okay, so she used key search and answer the public. Okay, yeah, answer the public is another good one. Google search, etc. Okay, key search. I'll have to add that to my list. I've never heard of that one. Key search. Oops, sorry about that. Yeah, so asked ChatGPT. He asked ChatGPT and it was bad. Yeah, so sometimes it's cool to use ChatGPT, just like, so if you said you were trying to write a blog about how to write blog posts or writing better, and you say like, what are some other topics I could include inside that blog? It actually does a pretty good job of answering that usually for me. So yeah, it's all about like sometimes with ChatGPT, the directive you give it. So sometimes like if they don't, I always call him a he, but it's not a he, but if he doesn't do a good job the first time, sometimes you do have to follow up and be like, that's not what I meant. Like, please try again. But yeah, so saying like, this is my topic. Are there any other keywords? Are there other things I could accomplish within the blog? And yeah, so what you're saying for content ideas is good, but not for finding good keywords. So that was the other thing I wanted to point out. Because let me just say I'll paste all of my tools that I recommend in the chat. People also ask, just so everyone can see them. For the ones that are more expensive, like SEMrush, you can get like free trials that will let you get like 7 searches a day or something like that. Let me just, it's very hard to type in this. Hrefs. Okay. Sorry. Okay, so I think that makes sense. But yeah, someone here a couple weeks ago talked about Mangools, which is a free one, so I would check that out. But yeah, for the keywords themselves, where did I write about this? So yeah, sorry, I took notes so that I'd have good answers. I wouldn't like worry too much about search volume. I know that kind of sounds crazy. Like, why would I write about something people aren't searching about? But you kind of want to find a good balance between finding keywords that have high search volume and then tailoring them to what you actually want your website to show up for. So even though, for instance, like, I'm not exactly sure what your business is, but say you're talking to small business owners or something, finding a keyword that is how to blog for small business owners, that's a very long keyword. So I'm sure that probably gets maybe 10 searches a month, maybe 0. I would rather target that keyword, how to write a blog for small business owners, versus how to write a blog. Because even though how to write a blog probably gets 1,000 searches a month at least, it's very broad. So you're going to get, all sorts of people to your site, and they might not be a good fit for what you offer. Versus if you target a super niche keyword like blogging for small business owners, if you're targeting small business owners and that person does search that keyword, that's a way better fit than, the thousands of people who might find your site that aren't your target audience. So yeah, it's kind of like, do you want a lot of traffic from unfit people, or do you want 5 visits from 5 super qualified people? So yeah, I know it sounds kind of crazy, but I wouldn't get too hung up about like how high search volumes are. For my clients, sometimes on my spreadsheet, it'll be like 10 searches, 0 searches, 20 searches. But if it's a super like targeted and like relevant keyword, I think that's a much better use of time than just writing a super broad and vague blog. So hopefully that makes sense. It's also easier to rank niche keywords. So like for your example, like how to write better, or writing, how to get better at writing, that's like going to be super hard to rank for, just because it is so vague and broad. So it's just going to be much easier to rank for these longer tail keywords, even though they have less search volume. And then also, like, when you're looking for keywords, make sure to, like, if you are using a tool like SEMrush or Ahrefs, you can see the difficulty. If the difficulty is, like 60 out of 100, or, anything higher than really like 40, it's going to be really hard for a small business site to rank, unless you have like a ton of backlinks. So yeah, if you see that, kind of avoid that keyword. But if you don't use a tool like that, you can literally just search that keyword. And, if like Forbes shows up, like, you're not going to compete with Forbes, so don't go with that keyword. But if another like small business site comes up, that might be your instance, like, oh, if they can rank for this, maybe I can too. So, and then last thing I wanted to say was, for your audience. So you said that your audience doesn't like the tips for writing. Maybe like send out a survey and ask them, like, what do they want to read about? That's one way to help you generate topics. Think about like your FAQs, like, what are people always asking you about? That's a good idea to write about whatever that is. And then the great thing about blogging and organic SEO is that you could technically, anyone could find it if you optimize it well. So even though your audience might not read it, maybe someone will. And then, yeah, the last thing, when you talked about like your frustration, are you tracking the blogs in GA4? Like, how do you know that no one's reading them would be my question. So yeah, are you tracking them? And then the biggest tip I can say is just kind of write what you're passionate about, because like you said, if you're frustrated and you're not enjoying blogging, you're going to put it off and you're not going to do it. So for me, like, I struggle with blogging and I put it off and I don't prioritize it. But the times that I have blogged, it's because I've been feeling really passionate about something. Like, for instance, last year I wrote about this holiday I came up with called Write a Review Wednesday. And it's like the idea of like each November on a Wednesday after Thanksgiving, you go and you write a review for a business that you like. So that was just like a topic that came to me and I was like, I'm going to write about that. It doesn't have a whole lot to do with SEO, but it's something I wanted to write about. So I wrote about it. So yeah, think about what you're passionate about and write about that. And then the people will come. Cause yeah, if you're going to like hurt your head and write about things that you don't really like writing about, it's not going to be fun for anybody. So yeah, hopefully that was helpful. Oh, and I have a tool for tracking. Okay, cool. Yeah, because that's the other thing is sometimes people have this belief like, my website's not getting any traffic. And I'll be like, how do you know that? And they always are like, I don't know that. They're like, well, the phone's not ringing. And I'm like, okay, well then you might not be getting leads, but you could be getting traffic. So yeah, just make sure that you're tracking everything within Google Analytics or whatever tool you choose. Yeah, let me just make sure I hit all my points that I wanted to. Yeah, you're welcome. Yeah, this was a good question, so maybe I'll write a blog about it, or maybe I'll write it in my email. So make sure to watch for that. Okay, so that was the only question we had ahead of the event. So does anyone have any follow-up questions to that in the chat or any other questions just in general before I kind of start diving into our topic for the day? Okay. See, oh, okay. So I think that that's good. So yeah, maybe I will move you over here so I can watch the chat. So it's gonna look funny, but okay. And then I will present my screen and I'll do a window this time. And I'm going to share this screen. Okay, cool. I can see everything now. So first, I think I'll talk about, since we were just talking about or keywords, maybe I'll go into page titles and meta descriptions first, just because that's kind of related. So yeah, I can share my SEMrush screen. And just kind of show what we mean about keyword research. Yeah, this could be helpful. So let me see that question again. So for instance, let's just put writing blog posts in there. And Katerina's German, so she had the German search volume, and she said it was 100. Let's see how many people in the US are searching for this. Okay, so yeah, similar. So similar to 100. So yeah, 70 searches a month for writing blog posts. And like I thought, it's pretty difficult. So it's a 67%. And it's because it's like so broad. It's, anyone could be searching that. And it is, it's 3 words long. So let's go down here. So like I always look at, for blog posts in general, like questions are really good because they're longer, or, just, yeah, looking at the longer tail ones. So like, let's look at what the questions that come up for this seed keyword is. Okay. Yeah, so like how to start writing blog posts. So like Katerina, this one only has 10 searches a month. But it's way easier to rank for just because it is a longer tail keyword. So yeah, like instead of going for like how or writing blog posts, maybe like how to start writing blog posts. Yeah, so it's like these are, yeah, like how much time to spend writing blog posts. This one has 0 searches a month, but like I would still target that because even though it says 0, it's weird because it can't really be 0. It's not 0 in my mind, especially that it's showing up in this tool. So how much time to spend? How do I start? Does writing blog posts help with SEO? So you could like tackle all these questions in a blog post that's called like blog post writing. So Let me see. A lot of this is like how much to charge. And then let's go back to like this one. I'll also usually go in here and see if there's any similar ones. Tips for writing blog posts. Okay, so tips for writing blog posts is less search volume. It's 30 versus 70, but look at the keyword difficulty. It's 48 versus 67. So, it's just like finding just like easier keywords to rank for. Blog post writing, blog post. Yeah, like blog post writing is 71%. So, and that's writing blog post versus blog post writing, like that's basically the same keyword. So it's like I said, it's going to be difficult to rank for something so broad. But yeah, tips for writing blog posts. If you did get good at like working with ChatGPT prompts for writing blog posts, that could be something to tell your readers about how you use ChatGPT to help you. Steps to writing a blog post. So you see that it's like, even though the search volume is less, it's like it's going to be much easier to rank, and it can be more targeted to what you're trying to achieve. So like I said, if you did blogging small businesses or something like that, and you can do this in any tool. You can even do this on Google itself. Small business blog. How does a blog benefit a small business? So yeah, like your target audience with small businesses, that would be a perfect keyword. So I thought this might be interesting to just show you how I do keyword research. How does a blog benefit a small business? And then it's like, so you see it gets 20 searches a month and the keyword difficulty is like 0 basically. You can literally go into Google and just search that and just see what comes up. So like MailChimp is sponsored, so like don't look at that. It does have an AI overview. So keep that in mind. Okay, so MailChimp is paying to rank and it's ranking organically, which just a little tip for me. Like I wouldn't pay to rank for this if I'm already ranking number 1 organically. That's just a little marketing tip. So yeah, like MailChimp is ranking. MailChimp, obviously probably has a lot of domain authority because it's MailChimp. So it might be tough to rank for this actually, but you can take a look at like how MailChimp wrote about this and, what did it include? What did they talk about? And maybe you could do it a little bit better. Wix. So Wix and MailChimp, interesting. Business.com. So interesting. This might be kind of tough to rank for. But yeah, just looking at the search results itself is a good idea to get, like, what does Google think should rank for this? Does that make sense? And then, yeah, we can go down to the people also ask what benefits. Oh, blogging for students. How might a business use a blog? So yeah, just interesting little similar keywords. But anyways, once you come up with the keywords, so like let's say we did go with like how to start a small business blog. When I talk about page titles and meta descriptions, all I'm talking about is, so I'll just put this here, is in the search results, the page title is this. So it's not really seen in the blog itself. A lot of people think when I say page title, I mean like this like title on the page. This is a header. This is not a page title. So the only really way you can see a page title on a page other than in the search results is if you hover over the tab, which it looks like you can't see, but I'm hovering over this tab up here and you can see the page title. So sometimes I'll go to websites and I'll just hover over that the tab just to see like what is their page title. Another way is I have an extension. Oh, you also can't see this either. But this little light bulb up here, it's called, what is it called? I have no idea. How do I find out what that extension is called? Oh, here we go. Okay, Meta SEO Inspector. So if you're like really into SEO, I recommend getting an extension like this. There's a bunch on the Google extension store, but this one allows me to any website I'm on, click this little light bulb and it'll tell me everything about this page. So you still can't see it, but it'll show me the page title, the meta description, the H1s, the H2s, the H3s. What else does it show me? Links. Like it shows me everything. So real quick, like if I want to see what something has on a page, I will go in there and I'll look. So I recommend if you're interested getting a extension like that. It's also good just to use on your own site. Like, what is my page title for this page? But yeah, so that's what I mean by page title. A page title, Google recommends to be like, 60, approximately 60 characters. And the reason it's important is it kind of tells Google what is your page about. And it is also what users see in search results if, I have to clarify, if Google doesn't rewrite it. Google technically can make this say whatever it wants, but for the most part, it'll be what you tell Google it is. And the reason they say like around 60 is if it's longer than that, sometimes it gets truncated with these little dots. So it's not like it can't be longer than 60, but just realize that if it's after the 60 or the 55, character cut, the user probably won't see it. So it's not a great user experience. But you're still kind of telling Google the keywords. So, sometimes, I go up to like 76 or something. So for this instance, like if you're going to start optimizing your website, I do it in a spreadsheet. So I would literally be like my homepage, and my keywords are how to start a small business blog, and then I would write my page title and my meta description. But yeah, so like if my business was called like small biz tips or something, my page title might be like how to start a small business blog, tips and examples. And then you can do this in Excel, but one way to do it in Word is to highlight it, and then go up to tools and hit word count. And okay, so this is 69 characters. And even though I told you guys it's 60, I would probably say, okay, that sounds good. So how to start a small business blog, tips and examples. And I like this because I'm sure if I Googled like business blogging tips, that's probably another keyword. Business blog examples, that's probably another keyword. I could do that right now, but I'm trying to save time. And then like those would be my 3 keywords for this page. Like I would be trying to rank for how to start a small business blog and small business blog examples and small business tips. So, Google can kind of like shuffle these around in its head. And then some people don't care about having their brand at the end. Some people do. It's kind of more of like a preference. For this, like, the name of the business is actually kind of a keyword, small biz tips. So I would probably recommend keeping it just because it's technically also telling Google, like, this is business tips. But I put it at the end because, like I said, it's 69 characters. Just this part is 16. So if this did get cut off because it's too long, who cares? It's just my brand name. So they always say to put the most important things at the front of your page title. So whenever I see people doing like their business name at the front, I'm like, what a waste of space. The only time I would recommend that is like, if you do have a lot of brand recognition, or it's like your homepage. I sometimes do it for my homepage. So people are like, it's just more grounding. It's like, oh, what is this website? Oh, it's small biz tips. But Google, you'll find if Google does rewrite your page title, a lot of times what Google does is just gets rid of that. Like Google doesn't really care to have that a lot of times. Like I'm interested to see. Oh, see, you can't see. Here, I'll do my view page source. Another way to see the page title is to view page source and Control F title. How do I do this? I'll just kind of, okay, title. Okay, and it's this title. So yeah, you could do title, and you can go and see that, yes, the title is right here. And this is interesting. So like I said, in the search results, it's 10 benefits of blogging for business and how to get started. But what it's actually in the back end, it's 10 benefits of blogging for business and how to get started. Line break, MailChimp. So see what I just told you? Google decided I'm getting rid of that. Like they don't need to know it's from MailChimp. So yeah. And then, so Emily said, did I miss where to edit the page title, specifically in WordPress? So yes, so different spots in each builder to edit these. I can show you Wix real quick. So in Wix, you just go to my website real quick. So it's different in each builder, but you kind of want to look for, like, usually you'll see like an SEO section or yeah, like titles or settings, sometimes the settings of a page. Sorry, it's so slow. I'll get rid of some of these tabs. Here, I'll also get a WordPress example up. Sorry. Okay, so this is my website. So pretty. So in Wix, you have your sidebar and you'll go to whatever page you want to edit. And so say I was trying to change the about page, you'd hit these little dots. So like I said, like a settings wheel in Squarespace, it's like a little wheel toggle, settings toggle, but it's also like right here. So like the page and then it's on the right. And then you can probably hit settings and you'll get there too. But like I said, SEO basics, click that. It's very slow. And down here, you'll see the title tag. So this is where I would write my title tag. So like, for instance, my about page is about intertwined. So I kind of put my brand at the beginning just to tell the user in Google like what this page is about. It's about me, local SEO expert in Collingswood, New Jersey. And it's cool, like Wix will tell you how many characters this is. So it's 55. Oh, and look, it says it's recommended to use 55 to 65 characters. And then this is also where you'll work on your meta description. In WordPress, it depends on what plugin you have. It doesn't have a way to do it just inherently in WordPress. You have to download a plugin. So Emily, you said you had Yoast, I think. So you'll use Yoast for this. But there's also one called All-in-One SEO. There's a couple. But for WordPress, if you have Yoast, you'll go down to the bottom. It's also over here too. And it's this is Yoast. And so the SEO title you'll put right here. And the meta description you'll put right here. And Yoast will kind of give you some tips. Take what we've talked about this before on Office Hours. Take what you will from Yoast. I don't listen to most of its tips because I have a way of doing things that I like. But it's red because it's saying this is super long. Let's go see how long it is. Yeah, it does look kind of long. So yeah, it's 68 characters. I'm sure Yoast turns red probably after like 60. So I'm ignoring it. And then you write your meta description here too. And then, yeah, like I said, you can also tell Yoast what your keyword is here, and it'll give you little hints and tips like you didn't put that in your header or you didn't put that in the page title. Yeah, take what you want from that. But yeah, so that's how you would put it into Wix and WordPress. And so that's page titles. Meta descriptions are also in the search results. And so it's funny, in this case, this is a featured snippet. But for like Wix right here, the page description is this little blurb that they've written to kind of tell you like what it is and why you should click on it. Unlike page titles, which are a ranking factor, meta descriptions aren't a ranking factor. So what I mean by that is you could put as many keywords as you want in here. Google has told us that it's not going to use those to bump you up in the search engine. So yeah, you could write like blogging, but Google just uses this as a way to tell users what your page is about. So don't really worry about keywords stuffing your meta descriptions. Take your meta description and use it to really hook your user. So, for a blog post like this, you could be like, looking for blog writing tips for your small business. So like you're saying your audience is small businesses, you're hooking them with a question. Click to learn more about blogging and see real world examples or something like that. From an expert or something like that. And that's probably not, so they say for meta descriptions, it should be approximately like 155 characters. This is probably like 120 maybe. It's not very long. Yeah, so like 130. So this is pretty short. So, I just wrote this on the fly, but you could get a few more words in there. Click to learn more about blogging and see real world examples from an expert in small business marketing or something like that. That's probably more like 150 something. Yeah, so 161. So yeah, something like that. So that's kind of like, hooking the user. Just like I said about the page titles, Google tends to rewrite meta descriptions all the time. And the way they choose to rewrite it a lot of times is, say someone searched this keyword and you mention that keyword right in the copy. Google might take that sentence that uses that keyword and put it there to say to the user, like, this blog literally says exactly what you just Googled. So I think Google kind of helps us there with the meta descriptions, but sometimes it is frustrating when you'll write this like beautiful little perfect meta description and then you'll go in Google and you'll see, something you did not write. So like, I wonder if for this one, first of all, I hope I come up. Yeah, so exactly. So interesting. I get like a little featured snippet. But so yeah, for this, they do say exactly what I tell them to. But interesting. I wonder how long my page. Okay, so my meta description is 163 characters. And it looks like it gets cut off right at the word online. So let's see how many characters that would be. Well, here, oh, interesting. So it only gives me like 129 characters in the search results there. So yeah, I definitely wouldn't go too high with your meta descriptions. So yeah, that's just a little description about our example and explanation of what those two SEO elements are. Like I said, like they are not really seen on the page themselves unless you have a little extension like me, or if someone's like creeping in your back end and they're like, just, they like look here, you can see the meta description. But so yeah, sometimes clients get really hung up because they're like, I don't want to say that, to my audience. And it's like, well, it's not really seen. It's more like just for Google and on the back end. And if it helps you rank, why wouldn't you do it? So yeah, not really on the front end, but very important. And the page titles especially is where I would really recommend getting keywords inserted. My personal belief is, and I've seen from experience, as soon as I change my clients' page titles, they start ranking higher than they did before. So I say it's like the first signal to Google, like, this is what this page is about. So I really recommend just going through and doing it for every page. And that's why I said maybe a spreadsheet is the way to do it, because you can literally, keep track of what pages you've worked on. So yeah, it's like keywords, title, meta. So that's a great way to just see what you've done and what you still need to do. Okay, any questions on page titles and meta descriptions? I feel like I've been talking for a very long time. Okay, so yeah, the more you hear, like when I was answering Katarina's question, and I was like, have you put the title or have you optimized the page title and meta description? That's what I meant by that question. Sometimes I feel like I'm asking that, and like I just assume everybody knows what I'm talking about. Okay, so let's go into UTM parameters. So UTM parameters, we're kind of like shifting subjects now, because UTM parameters are more about tracking your efforts in Google Analytics and other tracking softwares, I'm sure, but I only use Google Analytics, so that's what I'll be talking about. So for UTM parameters, the reason people tend to use them is to really get a good look at what marketing efforts are working, like I said. So Analytics automatically will track where, like what platform users came from. So I'm in Analytics, I go to reports, traffic acquisition. So this report will automatically tell us where people came from. So direct, organic search, referral, organic social. So that's helpful, I suppose. But like, if I was especially a big business and I, had 10 marketing campaigns a month, I would want to know which of those campaigns actually worked. Like, I get that Facebook did well, but like what posts specifically did well on Facebook? And obviously you can see those metrics in Facebook itself, like how many clicks to the website like did a post have, but this will let you track from the minute they came from Facebook, from that post through to whatever action you're interested in. So so automatically, you can see you can see what channel they came from. That's not really what UTMs are for, because Google already does that. But like I said, it's tracking which specific marketing campaigns. So let's talk about like if you were going to do a post on Facebook or LinkedIn, because I have LinkedIn ready to go. So I like to use this tool to build my UTMs. I'll put it in the chat. And essentially you need to know like where you're sending people. So say I was doing a post about office hours. I would get the office hours URL. I'd come in here and I'd put it here. You don't really need the campaign ID. That's more for like ads, Google ads. But if you're doing Google ads, you could do that. So yeah, like I said, say this is going on LinkedIn. So look at the examples, Google newsletter. So I would do social. You can double check what it's called. But yeah, social. I guess nowadays it's calling itself organic social. But yeah, I would do social. And then for Medium, I would do LinkedIn. And then the campaign name, that's kind of where you can get specific about what this post was. So I would say office hours, November 21st. And what this does is it's putting on this URL that the person who clicked on this link came from social, specifically LinkedIn, and specifically the office hours post made on November 21st. And you can come up with whatever naming convention you want for this. So yeah, like really great marketing teams will be like very specific about where each, word goes, but I don't, not for this example. So what this tool does is it makes the URL right there for you. And what you'll do is you would copy this, and this would be the link you use in the social post. So for instance, like if I was making the post, I would come in here and be like, join me today, and then instead of just doing /SEO Office Hours, the link would be this link. And most of these platforms will like truncate it, so it's not going to look super spammy and weird, because I think a lot of us, if we saw this, we'd be like, what is this ugly URL? It's obviously not as pretty as just like this URL. But like I said, all social media platforms will, truncate it. So I wouldn't worry too much about how it looks. And then what that will do is, instead of Google just seeing that this person came from LinkedIn, they will be able to tell which post exactly from LinkedIn it came from. So let me show you what I mean. The way you'll see it in Google is you'll come into traffic acquisition, and then here for this little plus sign, you'll hit plus sign, and you'll search campaign, session campaign. And here you'll be able to see sorry, I'm having a mind blank. You'll see which campaign sent the person there. So for instance, on my Google business profile, which I can also show, I specifically have a UTM parameter, because if someone just clicked, for most businesses, if someone just clicked this website button, Google would track that as just another person coming from Google. But like, I took the effort to create this cool little profile. I want to know if people are coming from it. So if you can see, which it doesn't look like you can see, I guess I'll just click. What I've done instead up here, you'll see, is it's not just intertwine.com. I've put this UTM. So source equals Google, medium equals organic. Those are just kind of things you'll learn. So like, remember on here it said refer, the example is Google. So that always, like, sometimes I can't even remember. I'm like, oh, it's Google. So the Google's there, the medium is organic, and then the campaign is GBP, which is Google Business Profile. And that way I can tell in analytics that I've had 130 people come directly from that little profile, which is so cool. If I hadn't had that UTM parameter added there, it would just show up as organic, like this, which is cool. Like, I want people to come from Google results, but I think it's really cool that they came specifically from that little profile I created. So I tell all my clients, if they have a Google business profile, make sure you put a UTM there so we can see who's coming from there. And then, the biggest thing that I tell people to make sure that this is turned on for is email marketing, because you send out all these emails, and if you're looking at analytics, you'll see like 130 people came from emails this year. But what emails, And like I said, you can see in your email provider, it'll say for each email, like 6 clicks, 10 clicks. So you could kind of do the math, but it's just so cool to see it in Google. So like, for instance, like these are my different emails, and I can see which email brought those people. I don't think I've ever really done it on social media, which I should, because I tell everybody else to. But if I had done it on social media, like I just showed, it would say, what was that example I did? Office hours, November 21st. So it would say here, organic social here. And then it would say office hours. It would say LinkedIn office hours, office hours 2021 or whatever I said. So that way, like, you could see, oh, that post really did well. The other post I did yesterday, nobody seemed to click on. And then you can start to realize, like, oh, maybe videos are sending us more traffic than, just regular posts. And so that's why I was trying to talk about last time and office hours, is making sure that your email provider has this turned on. It's really annoying, but like, they don't automatically have it turned on for most email providers. I'm going to use Mailerlite because that's what I have, but it's a little different for each provider. But yeah, for Mailerlite, you come into dashboard. Let me see. dashboard, and then it's over here in account settings. And it's either going to be in like account settings or integrations, depending on, if it's ConvertKit, it's MailChimp. And then you want to look out for something called link tracking. For MailChimp, I believe you integrate it. There's an integration right with Google Analytics. So like I said, look for integrations or account settings. But yeah, for Mailerlite, it's called link tracking. And in here, this is I'm able to tell Google, or I'm able to tell Mailerlite what I want all my links to have at the end. So the source is newsletter, the campaign medium is email. And so that's what I'm saying here is the source is email. And if we had done, what it means by source medium is if you look here at session source / medium. Yeah, so for email, like I said, the source is newsletter, the medium is email. Like I said earlier, the source is Google, the medium is organic. And then, like I said, for social media, the source is facebook.com, the medium is referral, which is weird. That's new. It used to be social. So maybe I'll update my link and it'll be referral. Interesting. But yeah, so for your email, you'll do newsletter, email, and then this is telling Mailerlite what you want the campaign name to automatically be for each one. Right now, it's the subject line, which we saw earlier in here. We can tell that like what we're seeing is subject lines, which I don't love, so I might actually change. Ooh. See, these are the subject lines. So that's what it's defaulting to, is just a subject line, but I don't actually really know what these emails are. I'd have to go in my my system and see like what was that email. It might be more helpful if I did the campaign name that I'm calling each email. So if it was like Office Hours 2020, why do I keep saying 2021? November 21st, that might be more helpful if I saw that versus a subject line. And then the campaign term, which is another thing if you really want to get even more nitty gritty. But the ones that you have to pay attention to are source, medium, and campaign. So that's how like it's turned on in Mailerlite. Save changes, and then it says here, where does it say? I saw it earlier. Enable by configuring. Anyways, what you'll want to do is also when you're about to send the email itself, make sure that it's turned on. So like right here in Mailerlite, it says tracking options, UTM tags enabled. And so if that wasn't clicked, it would tell Mailerlite not to do these UTM tags, which is what so many of my clients don't have turned on. It's so frustrating. So you can probably see like when I maybe when I click on this. So it doesn't show right now, but basically what it's doing is for each, okay, yeah, here. So, no, it's not showing. It's kind of showing here. So for this SurveyMonkey link in here, it's saying UTM source equals newsletter, medium equals email. So that's what it'll append to each link in the email. And then it'll tell Google, Google will see that and Google will interpret and it'll show in your reports. And so then at the end of each month, you could run a report that's like, what email did the best, And this is why if you had like e-commerce or you did like, if you were tracking form submissions, which I am, so I could show you like, event count, all events. If I did, contact form, which is an event I'm tracking. And I don't think, okay, so someone once did it, but yeah, I don't really get a lot of form submissions. But look, someone came from an email called, congratulations, your SEO audit is on the way. And then you can see down here, event contact form, they filled out a form so I could track that they came from that email and then they did exactly what I want them to do on the website. So yeah, if you were tracking sales, like if you were e-commerce like Emily, you could see that email led to, $100 or 5 sales. So it's just really cool to see, like Katarina said earlier, like she's frustrated no one's reading her blogs. Like if you saw that one of your blogs or your emails, like something you wrote led to an event, like a form or a sale, you'd be like, oh, that works. I'm going to do more of that. So yeah, just really cool. Like I said, you want to make sure that it's turned on in all your email softwares. If you need help with that and you want to ask me after this, I can find an article. But yeah, most of these things have an article. So you would just search, like, I did this for my client the other day, MailChimp UTM tracking, and an article will show up. So yeah, integrate Google Analytics with MailChimp. But yeah, it's super helpful. Oh, the last thing I wanted to show you is if you're like really going to get into it, this is a cool spreadsheet. I can share it actually in the chat. I just found it literally on Google. Copy. But this is also a generator, but it's more helpful in my eyes to just track them. So like if you made a bunch of these links, you might get confused, like, what is this? So a lot of people will literally have a spreadsheet that tracks each UTM that they've ever created. But anyways, what this will do is, I think, like, you have to make a copy, but it's just like that tool I showed that where if you put them in here, it generates the link for you. So if you'd rather have it in a spreadsheet form versus this little website, you could do it this way. But yeah, it is annoying because it's one more step. And I know as marketers and business owners, we are already very busy, and like you just want to share, and like I said, I've been doing it too. I'm very lazy. So like on most LinkedIn posts, I am just doing this and whatever. But, I would like to know like which posts have done well. So it is annoying because, it's harder than just doing this, but it's 2 seconds. Just go in here. Like I said, social, LinkedIn, campaign name, boom. And yeah, you will be able to track that. And yeah, like I said, the spreadsheet is helpful because like if I saw this office hours, November 21st, what is that? What is that? If I had put it in here and then linked like in the notes, like a link to that post, it'll say like, oh, it was that post. That's why marketers use these spreadsheets. Because if you're like Pepsi, Pepsi probably has like 1,000 UTM parameters each month. So like just tracking what each one is for. So yeah, hopefully that was all. I know it's kind of confusing, but essentially UTM parameters help us track our marketing campaigns. And it's really, well, it's like I said last week, it's like affiliate links. You know what affiliate links are? Like when you're sending like out an affiliate link on Amazon or whatever, if you go to that link, that person gets paid. It's because Amazon can track that sale came from that link. So yes, I hope that was helpful. Does anyone have any last minute questions about UTMs or page titles and meta descriptions? That was a lot of talking. Thank you so much. Very helpful. Okay, well, I'm glad it was helpful. Yeah, like I said, if you have any questions or if you're confused about where to find the settings in your email provider, I can help out. But yeah, it's nice because once you have that turned on, it'll do it for you. Back in the day, we used to have to do it for each link in an email. So I would be like, header, like video link. And it was very tedious to do it for, if there was an email that had like 20 links, making a UTM for each link took a long time. So it's nice that they now do it for you, but you have to have it turned on. Cool. Well, thanks so much for coming. Yeah, the next office hours is the first Thursday of December. So that'll be the 5th. But yeah, I hope if you celebrate Thanksgiving in the States, you have a good Thanksgiving. And yeah, I'll see you at the next one. So thanks for being here. Bye, guys.